Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by MacVoices Magazine, our free Flipboard magazine that brings you some of the best Mac, iPhone, and iPad productivity tips on the web. High in signal, low in noise, just like Mac Voices, MacVoices Magazine includes information on how you can get more out of your Apple technology. Subscribe at macvoices.com/magazine or search for MacVoices Magazine on Flipboard. And by the Mac Voices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter to stay up to date on all the Mac Voices news. Subscribe from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Welcome to the Mac Jury on Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is panel number 2 of our Mac Jury gift panels. It's become a holiday tradition, one that we enjoy. I know you enjoy as well because you tell me so all the time. We have absolutely an all-star panel this time around, and I can't wait to see what they pick because it's who they are, and that's going to be really interesting. So let's go around the table, find out who's here, and then we'll get to it. Working from left to right on my screen, first up, Mr. Brett Terpstra. Brett, it's good to have you back.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, what are you up to now? Or what you're up to? So many things. What are the highlights of what you're up to?
I'm currently working on the ballyhooed replacement for NVL. It's going to be called BitWriter. That's where most of my time's going, and then Merc 2 and blogging at brettterpstra.com.
Great. Do we have an estimated time on BitWriter?
God, I wish.
Okay.
I keep telling people beta in 2 weeks, but that's been like 8 times now. It's been 16 weeks since I started saying that.
Well, that's okay. As long as it's good in quality when it comes out, and that we know that's going to happen. Yeah. Well, it's good to have you. Next up, a gentleman I haven't seen for quite some time in person or even on the shows, Mr. Ewen Rankin. Ewen, it's great to have you back.
Hello, mate. Good to be here. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's terrible. It's terrible. We both are busy people.
Yeah, I've been shoving our shows around left, right, and centre as well. So we haven't had a fixed time for a while. So that's my reason, I guess, for the fact that we haven't coincided on times dead easily for you to come on BTN. But good to know that we're settled again now. So hopefully you can come back on soon.
Good. Well, I always enjoy it. It's a great crew and it's a lot of fun. So we're saying BTN. You better tell everyone what BTN is.
British Tech Network. British Tech Network. It's just light, easy shows that people can listen to. There's no set time. There's no set topics necessarily. The big show is kind of cool because everyone brings their own story to talk about. And then we go through Apple News on the Mac show. We've got plenty of other stuff. The photo show's back now as well, which is nice. We've got a gamer show. We've got a pocket show, which is for iOS, Android, and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got the daily show, which is done by Kyle in the Philippines every single day, 5 minutes tech news.
Ewen, I don't know how you do it. The number of shows you put out, and
I don't do them all. There's a start.
Yeah, but you do a lot of them, and then on top of that, you work for a living too. It's amazing. Yeah,
I'm a jobbing photographer, videographer. So yeah, that takes up a lot of time. It's just one of those things, I don't. A lot of my time is spent editing as well. So, I can sit and edit in the evenings to free up time during the day or vice versa. So it's easy to move stuff around.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you. I'm looking forward to see what you're bringing to the holiday. Last but absolutely not least, Mr. Victor Cajiao. Victor, it's great to have you.
Hey, Chuck, great to be here with all of you.
Victor, you finally made it. I think you've been scheduled to be on 2 or 3 different shows, and we've had to pull the plug because people canceled out on us. So I'm delighted to get you here.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. It's finally here, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and you've got some great co-panelists. So, you keep changing projects, though, Victor. What's the current one?
I like to keep moving, and so yes, I just ended the TerraTech podcast with Apple for a year, and it was a great project, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. And I'm starting something new. This is the second time I've talked about it. Starting in December with my good friend Kelly Gamont, who is just a very smart woman out there, and her and I are going to do a project called 3 Nerd Things, the number 3nerdthings.com, and it's going to be a 30-minute program, time-bound, by 3 topics, 10 minutes each with a timer, because Kelly and I could go on forever if you let us. So we're just going to pick 3 things out of the nerd world. It can be tech, it can be comics, it can be anything, and we're going to talk about 3 nerd things every week starting in December.
That's an interesting concept, especially with Kelly, who was on the first gift jury. So good luck.
Well, that's it. That was it. I mean, I know Kelly, and her and I are both kind of the same way. And I'm like, I'm setting a timer, and literally the audience will hear the timer at the 10-minute mark, and we go to the next thing. No more discussion. We just move on to the next topic. So we'll see how it works out.
Okay.
So it's a structured version of Overtired.
Yeah,
my podcast with Christina Warren.
Or clockwise, kind of the same. I just like the idea of time bound because Kelly and I can go on. It could be 3 hours. So, yeah.
Ewan, do you have any knowledge of Kelly going on?
I'm going to say, have you explained to Kelly that she needs to hear the timer? No?
Oh, no. I have it set up on Skype so she hears the timer. I assure you.
Good luck with that.
How about like a boxing match bell that, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We can come up with a lot of ideas for you, Victor.
Kelly knows the timers for both of you, not just for her.
No, she knows it. She knows it. So listen in, and we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Good. Well, it's great to have you finally. So, guys, it's the holiday time, and each of you, I think, brings a different perspective to the holiday based on what I know about you. So I'm anxious to see what you have to pick. So I think if it's okay with you, we're just going to keep the same order so we don't lose anybody or I don't get mixed up. So, Brett, that gives you the round one, pick one.
All right. My tastes have changed significantly over the last year. Less nerd, more exercise and cooking, but I'm going to start with a traditional nerd pick. The MicFlip 2.0 USB cables. I don't know if you've seen these, but they are fully reversible. You can't plug them in the wrong way on either end. It's a micro USB, like A to B. And as of 2.0, the first one, the micro USB that would plug into your phone or whatever camera, that one was reversible, which is great because those are impossible to like just quick glance at and get right. But now the part that will plug into your computer or your portable battery, that's also reversible. I have a habit of, it can take me 3 tries. I don't know how, but it can take me 3 tries to get a USB cable plugged in the right way. Because you always do that first one. You're like, no, that's obviously wrong. And then you are wrong. And then you're right. So anyway, MicFlip 2.0, the cables are like $20 and they are fabric wrap cables, super durable. Very
good quality.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah, they're really. I seconded that definitely because that's. We had a couple of those on review, and I was floored. I thought the middle part of the main USB reversible part would give out at some point, but it's strong as an ox. So totally seconded.
I'm intrigued. I have not heard of these. So we're not talking about USB-C. You were talking about something that adapts to.
These are the cables you have all over your house,
right?
With that. Almost every device that's not a Lightning device plugs into to charge or transfer data, all portable stuff. It just fixes. It's something that should have always been exactly like it is in the MicFlip, but now it works.
Okay, good. Really interesting pick, and sounds like, because I'm like you, you get tired of, especially the micros, trying to figure out which end, and if you're doing it in the dark, that's even worse. So
yep.
Yeah,
I think the thing with them is that the price could put someone off, but my comment to them is always, yes, it's expensive, but it's an extremely high quality cable, and it will last.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Okay, the first pick out of the gate, and it's going to cost me money. Thanks, Brett.
Isn't that what we do here?
That's what we do, right?
Is that the time check? Sorry, man.
Yeah. Ewan, round one. What do you have for your very first pick?
I'm going to go for something really simple, but something that is just beautiful. And it's a game called Tengami. It's available in the Mac App Store. It's a couple of bucks. It's not very much. I can't remember how much it is now, and I can't find out the price because I bought it. But it's Tengami. I'd urge you all to go and have a quick look now. It is an origami-based puzzle game with a Japanese backdrop, and you fold pieces over and complete the puzzles by folding the origamis to make it work. And it sounds like it's what was that origami game that was I want to say Canu, but I don't think it was. But there was. This isn't like that. This is a scenario, and it's a story about a Japanese girl who goes through the story, and every time you get to the end, it folds the page over, and it's just so beautifully drawn and made. And it's the puzzles vary from easy to quite difficult, but I get wrapped up in the story and just how beautiful this thing is. It's easily the best game I've played this year.
Okay, that's interesting. Not being a gamer, I don't know, but when you start recommending it and describing it in those terms, it makes me at least want to go look at it.
You get absorbed in just playing it because of the beauty of the animations. It is. I can't. You will when you see it and you've played it. You'll write to me and you'll go, "You were dead right." It's just the sheer beauty of the game.
Ewan, how's the music behind it? Is it zen-like? Is it also something that makes you concentrate and really enjoy it?
It's not intrusive. To be honest, it's so subtle I can't tell you what it's like. It's Japanesey, but it's not.
It's actually available on SoundCloud. You can get the whole soundtrack for the game.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
At nyamyam.com, they have screenshots for Chuck and a soundtrack for Victor.
That sounds great because I'm looking for stuff to be able to do meditation and stuff, and this sounds like it's something where you can work your left brain, but also get some meditation at the same time.
It's a day sapper, mate. You sit down and you think, 10 minutes of this, and then it's lunchtime.
That's awesome. I'm retired, so I got it, man. No problem.
All right, good. An iOS game in the first round. That's interesting. Victor, what are you going to do for us?
It's not iOS, it's Mac App Store.
Oh, sorry. Mac App Store. Sorry. That was my mistake.
It says it's available for iOS as well, but the link opens iTunes, and I have those blocked, so I can't verify that.
Okay. Sorry. Good to know. Okay. Thank you. Victor, what's your first round?
Well, my holiday picks are really based around a selfish reason. In December, middle of December, I'm going to Cuba for 10 days. And it's a trip that I haven't taken in 48 years since I came from there at 9 years old. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And of course, part of that for me is going to be documenting in photography and video some of the things that I see there, good, bad, and indifferent. And one of those needs that I had as I thought about this and wanted to get some good pictures and good video was, what do I do about lighting and something that's going to work in a lighting situation for iOS and for my small camera that I'm taking. And so I'm using LumeCube. LumeCube was something that was put out there in, I believe it was a Kickstarter, and there's a new Kickstarter for a new version that has just started. It's $80. And as a matter of fact, I'm using it for a fill light right here, right now. And it's just this little cube right here. And you can see it's just a little cube that has an incredibly bright light that I will not shine on you. Right now, it's set at its lowest setting, and it's still super, super bright. If I go up higher than that, there's a great iOS application that comes with it. You can have multiple Lume Cubes at the same time, and therefore control like 3-point lighting. If you had 3 of them, you can control each of them separately. It also has a camera app and a video app on it. And you can do things like I can control, the actual lighting. You can see I'm going super bright there, and here it's all the way off. So it's a really handy device for a good, price point, I think, that should resolve some of those fill light issues for me, whether I'm taking pictures in the day or I'm doing some nighttime videography of the Malecon or something like that. So it's a great unit, and so far I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I talked to LumeCube, I guess 2 CESs ago, and was just amazed at these little things because they're so small, they don't get hot, and yet they are so bright. And as you said, the new ones are, I think, even better than those when I first saw them.
Yeah, and for $80 for a portable solution, that is chargeable by a micro USB anywhere, anytime. 10 minutes, I can have enough of a charge, and so I think it's a great solution for those portable needs that we all have, and home needs. I mean, like I'm saying now, you could take a couple of these and do a good lighting in a studio situation like this with just 2 of them. Great,
nice pick. And I'm just wondering if you and I are going to start fighting over picks here as we go along, but we will find out. My picks for this show are going to be a little bit themed. I decided quite by accident that it's just why not talk about everything. So my first pick it's sort of a double pick. It's this one is the iOgrapher for the iPad, but also if this is plastic. If you want something a little bit heavier duty, there's the Padcaster, but they basically both serve the same purpose. I should hold it up here. It is essentially a shell for your iPad or iPhone, where you have the cold shoe mounts here, so that you can attach mics or lights like Victor's Lume Cube. It also has a threaded lens mount right there. Whoops, I think I just blocked myself out. A threaded lens mount, and you can get different lenses for it. It is just the easiest way, and then of course there's the usual threaded mount on the bottom for a tripod, and it's the easiest way to give yourself a little bit of a movie studio in your hand. It's much nicer than just trying to hold the iPad up. It's much nicer than some of the other, both of them are much nicer than some of the other solutions to attach them to a tripod, so you can do shooting where you are in front of the camera. About $99, give or take, depending on where you buy it. Sometimes that you can get packages with the external lenses, but it's just a solution that you can't appreciate how good it is until you go out to shoot something in the field, or your kids' parties at school or whatever, and realize that, okay, now, especially with the iOgrapher, you've got those two grips on the side to hold it nice and steady. It's just a terrific solution. So if you're into iPad or iPhone video and want to take it up a notch, get the iOgrapher, and if you're doing it with the iPad, the Padcaster, both are great solutions. A little bit different prices, and again, the iOgrapher is a very durable plastic. The Padcaster is more of an aluminum frame that is quite a bit heavier duty. Maybe a little bit heavier in weight. So figure out which one is for you.
It's a bit heavier in price as well.
Yeah, well, there is that. I've what $179, I think. Am I making that up? I'll have it in the show notes. But you know,
do they make one for the iPhone 7 camera?
Yeah,
the dual camera.
The Padcaster. Oh, the dual camera. Yeah, the Padcaster.
I'll have to check.
Yeah.
I'll have a look in a sec, but Dave's pulled an absolute blinder with those, because that's a standard 37mm thread on the lens cap there. So if you type into Amazon 37mm, you're going to get a ton of filters that will go over the front of that, neutral density stuff, circular polarizers, because it's a standard rating for a lot of the small cine cameras. Not cine cameras, Christ, how old am I? Video cameras. It's absolutely brilliant. So he's pulled a blinder by picking that thread size, definitely, and there's Tiffin stuff as well that works well with it.
Yeah.
Chuck, does it have also the tripod mount, up top or in the side, so that you have different places that you can maybe add something like a Lume Cube or something to it as well?
For the iPhone version, yes. For this version, for the iPad version, no. So there is no mount. But on the iPhone, yes, because I'm looking at one right over there, and it definitely has the threaded mount on the side of that.
Right.
For those people that I guess there's more of a need for an iPhone to do portrait video. I don't understand why, but I guess there is. So I'm not a video snob at all. Ewen, it sounds like you have experience with these.
Yeah, no, Dave helped us out at Macworld when we did a floor show walk, and we had Paul Shadwell following us around like Gandalf with that on a monopod. None shall pass. We had audio links on the top, so we were wirelessly linked into it as well, and we were broadcasting because he had his little live stream broadcast out. He had that mounted on the cold shoes on the top. It was brilliant. Dave was really kind to give us that, and I would always back iOgrapher. Definitely, they're really good little cool things to take out for the day. And those two handles as well just change the way that your stability that you get, and it's a good utility device.
Yeah. I've had Dave Basulto from iOgrapher, as well as Josh from Padcaster on too. So they're both great products. It just depends on what your need is. So that's round one. Diverse set of picks, no question. So round two, Brett, we're back to you. What's going on?
Okay. Okay. I've been cooking a lot, and I'm a big fan of complexity and impossibility and ingredients I can't find and recipes that use words I don't understand. So I got into Yoram Ottolenghi, and the first one I got from him, the cookbook was, it's called Plenty, and it's a vegetarian cookbook. He also has one that is not just vegetarian, includes meat recipes, but these recipes are so good you don't even care like that they don't include meat, even if you like meat. He mixes he mixes ingredients from multiple locales that you wouldn't normally find within any specific ethnic cuisine, and he remakes dishes in ways that make them familiar yet something entirely new. So he's been a huge inspiration to me, and the cookbook is available. You can get it on Kindle, but the hardcover version is gorgeous. Great pictures, great explanations, backgrounds for the recipes. And as a tip, if you pick this up, you can go to his website. I'd have to Google it to find it, but the ingredients for all of these recipes are listed in a format that's easy to import into something like Paprika on the Mac or the iPhone for your shopping lists. And about half of them actually have the recipes online. Otherwise, they'll say, see page 37 of Plenty, which is a really good recipe on page 37. Hot tip.
When you were talking about having things not necessarily available to you, that you're a fan of that, is it a problem to get the ingredients that he recommends?
Oh, man. Sub pick. Can I do a sub pick?
Sure.
So there's a book called The Food Lover's Companion. There's a deluxe version out now. And this is what I use to translate the words he uses. Sometimes they're just names I haven't heard for things I do have. I can't even remember the word that he used for eggplant. It threw me off for a long time.
Aubergine.
Yes. And now my brain just translates that. But the Food Lover's Companion will not only help you translate, but it'll offer you substitutes for just about everything. It's like a dictionary for food.
Okay.
I got 2 in. That does not count as my third pick.
Okay. Interesting. But it sounds like all you need to do is call Ewan and he would have fixed you up.
I guess.
Big in Greece.
I think I could probably stump him with some of them.
I've got a message back from Myographer. You can use the GoPro kit for the iPhone 7, but we're working on an exclusive iPhone 7 kit, which will be released soon.
Nice.
There you go.
Got it.
If he needs a Cuba beta tester, let him know I'm available.
I write to him so often, though, he just ignores me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good pick. Good pick, Brett. Yeah. Especially the sub pick really intrigues me a lot because I have the same problem. It always seems like there's one ingredient that I don't have and can't find for something.
I live in a small town in the Midwest. There's a lot of ingredients I can't find, so it's handy.
Yeah, I love the idea of substitutions. So, all right, Ewan, since you could name the eggplant variation, what do you have coming for the second one?
This is one that you're only going to buy for your family if you really, really love them or you're deeply in debt to them, and it's the Synology 16 terabyte NAS drive. These have absolutely changed the way I work. I love them to bits. I've got 2 of them up in the loft that are mirroring each other, and they just back up everything that I've done for work. I've got about 60 terabytes of storage space for video and photos at the office, and these things just whir away, keeping track of all the most recent stuff that I keep loading up there. They're fast. They're great to use. When I first thought I was going to get these, I was talking in our Slack room, and Adam Christensen from the Maccast said, he said, Synology, he says, you're going to need your big boy coding pants on to get those to work properly for you. And it wasn't. It was effortless. The interface is superb. I absolutely adore them, and I wouldn't be without them now. They're about £800 for the 16 terabytes, as I say, but they come with 2 Western Digital Red drives in them, and they seem rock solid at the moment. So I'm loving them.
Do you only use the red drives, Ewan?
They come with the red drive in, so
right. But forgive me because I'm not familiar with the model. So are these the ones that you can add more to, or is that they just are what they are?
I think they're designed specifically for NAS drives. I don't think they're, because the standard blue drives come in the Thunderbolt Western Digital 8 terabyte units that you can get. And these are specifically the branded as the red, and I think they're specifically built for NAS.
Okay, good. All right, yeah, mass storage. I'm like you. I gather more stuff up. I don't even want to think about how much stuff I've got here. Not quite to your level, but I aspire to it.
I throw nothing away.
Yeah.
I've got film up in the loft that I fogged when I was 19 in a dark room, and I still let it throw it away. And there's nothing on it. It's just grey.
Any reason you're hanging on to it?
You never can tell.
Okay.
Never throw anything away. Never burn your original. Never throw anything away.
Yeah, I know that feeling. All right, good. So heavy-duty hardware for pick number 2 from Ewen. Victor?
I'm going to continue with my multimedia theme here and travel. And, if there's anything else but good lighting that you need when you're traveling, to me, it's good sound when you're doing video. And so I wanted to be able to capture simultaneous sound on the iPhone as when I'm shooting with my little Canon GX7 Mark II, which has no external microphone at all. So I picked the Shure MV88 iOS mic. It's about a $150 item, and this is what it looks like right there on the iOS unit. You can see it attaches to the bottom of the phone. I have a case, so I had to get an extender. And what's really great about it is that it has an absolutely stunning interface that lets you record in Omni. It lets you record in bidirectional. It lets you record. It lets you set the width of the stereo thing. So you have a lot of flexibility. The application has a built-in compressor, and it is really quite stunning what this microphone can do, recording at full WAV or AIFF bandwidth on there. And then you can simply export those out and matching up to your video in Final Cut, and you're good to go. Great little microphone for not cheap, but it is Shure quality, and I love it. I've recorded some music with it already at a gig, and it's pretty stunning.
So Victor, you're going to be using that in while you're recording video on the iPhone, or is that going to be just a dedicated audio recorder that then you'll match up later?
Both. Mostly dedicated audio recorder, recording the video on the little GX7 Mark II. But, I can also record the, audio right here within the iPhone using one of the iPhone video apps, and it'll use the microphone. The system recognizes the microphone system-wide. So whether I'm using it for recording, a podcast or an audio piece or video, the microphone is recognized in all of the different applications, not just their proprietary application.
Okay, good. And I'm asking because that is sort of a competitor to my pick, but apparently my next pick, but apparently not. Because I'm going to go with the iOgrapher theme and the mobile videos theme throughout. And so one of the little shotgun mics that I got for the iOgrapher to do something similar to Victor, but not quite the same, is the Rode Video Mic Go, which is a very small, compact little shotgun mic. But I've been extremely impressed for $99 with the off-axis rejection, so that as long as I have it aimed at you, if I'm taking video of you and you're talking, I've got pretty darn decent video, and yet I don't have a lot of that's being pulled in from around you. And so I've really liked that. One small caveat on this is that with this, or pretty much any non-iOS designed mic that you're going to try to plug into an iPhone or iPad at this point, you need to get the Rode SC7 TRS to TRRS patch cable. And the reason you need it, or the way you can tell, is that if you have a microphone now with the 3.5-inch jack that only has the 2 little rings on it, that is not going to work with your iOS device. You need this, which will give you the 3 rings. It's $15, and it's not a big deal, and it's certainly not large, but it is required. So for pretty much any mic thing that is not built for iOS, you're going to need that. But this is a great little mic. It goes mounts very nicely on the cold shoe. It's not too large to put on an iPhone version of the iOgrapher. So as a result, you have a little mini shotgun, but it's not obnoxious. And of course, Rode. What do you need to say? I'm not sure who else got Rode mics here, but I know I've got one. I'm not sure what you're using, Ewan. You do? Okay.
Yeah, I got NG2 and NG3s, and I got a Sennheiser MK600 as well that I use regularly.
Okay.
And Chuck, I'm sure I looked at the Rodes too, but again, I didn't have an external jack on my camera.
Right.
But whichever one, whether it's the Rodes or like the one that I'm showing you, you also want to make sure you get one of these little, cat things for when you're outside and that wind's blowing. It's the best $20 you'll spend because you can have a great microphone, but if it's just picking up nothing but wind, you're going to be stuck. So one of these guys saves the day. There are cheaper ones. There are more expensive ones. This one will also fit a couple other mics I have. So
Victor, you can tell you're not a professional, mate.
Oh, I definitely am not a professional.
No. The reason you can tell you're not a professional is because you've taken it off. Professionals just never take them off. They're just on there all the time. They never remove it.
There you go. I'll put it on, and then I'll consider myself a professional after that.
You've got the right frame.
Good. Yeah. Good. Very good point, Victor. Very good point. Yeah. And it sounds like when you pulled that mic up, it's like, oh, what's this? So it could be used with the situation the way I'm using mine. But you probably couldn't use it with yours unless you got the adapter. And I'm not sure because it's built to have to mount on that cold shoe. Probably wouldn't make a lot of sense for you unless you got something to mount it on.
Do you get much handling noise with that, Victor? If your fingers rub on the iPhone casing or whatever, does any of that transfer through, or is it fairly well isolated?
Pretty well isolated, unless you actually touch the mount itself here. Yeah. Then you're going to get some, but otherwise you don't. And you're able to also flip this at a 45-degree angle, so that's kind of nice too. And you'll notice that I'm a professional now, so I'm good.
Good man. There you go. We're going to get emails then from people who actually proper sound engineers are going to know. No, we don't. Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
In this group, that's what it takes to be a professional.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, that's the first two rounds. They fell pretty quick and some interesting picks. So let's kick into round three. Brett, are you going back to cooking or are you going tech?
Oh man, do you want me to go tech or do you want me to go something way out there? that most of the people who watch the show won't care about at all.
Well, you're known for.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to flaunt the system.
Yeah.
He's going to do this, and then I'm going to go, yeah, I got two of those.
Yeah. He's doing text it.
So I got into yoga this year, and I started out with a mat from Target. It was $20. It was slippery. It was horrible, easy to carry, but because there was nothing there. So eventually, once I got more serious, I did pick up a natural rubber mat, and there's a place called Yoga Accessories, and they make kind of off-label yoga accessories. It's an eponymous title. Is that the word? Eponymous? I read it. I've never said that one out loud before. So the Yoga Accessories natural rubber yoga mat is comparable, like identical to ones that cost over $100. It's I think $70 for this one, but you can sweat all over the thing and not fall over when you're doing upside down poses. I appreciate this mat.
Okay, so educate us a little bit.
I had a feeling you guys were not going to want to have a conversation about this.
Well, no, I'd like to know because it's a mat. So that's the part that I do not. I admit I do not understand. What makes a good yoga mat? What makes a bad yoga mat?
A lot of times it's the person on top of it, but in this case, for me, a little bit of density, some weight. It needs to be relatively non-skid. But the biggest issue for me was with the cheaper mats, they do not absorb sweat at all. So at the end of class, if you don't have a yoga towel over your yoga mat, you basically have like a slip and slide. And when you go into poses that require a lot of like dolphin with your elbows on the ground and then your feet, legs straight. And that can cause you to, say, face plant, oftentimes off the mat if you're 6 feet tall. And things get ugly. So like basically a little bit of padding, but then, not being slippery.
Okay. From the serious look on Chuck and Victor's face, they think face plant's a yoga pose.
No, it's the downward dog leading into the walk the dog and then the face plant. That's how it works.
Face plant is what I used to do when I drank way too much all the time. I have
tried yoga drunk. It can have the same results. Yes.
So the big question here is, Ewan, do you have two of them?
I do actually have. I don't have two of those, but I have two yoga mats up at the office because I do my sun salutation most mornings.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. God, I'm finding out all kind of things about you guys. This is great.
I'm not very good. No, I'm not good at all. But
I'm not great. I still do mostly level 1 stuff, but I really enjoy it 3 times a week now.
I think we're going to do a MacVoices special on Ewan and Brett doing yoga.
With video.
Yeah, with streaming video if I can arrange it.
Oh,
yeah.
mate, that's going to be a pay-per-view that's going to be really outsold.
Oh, okay. There are all kind of pictures that are coming to mind. I think we'll walk away from them.
Your imagination is probably worse than the real thing, but we'll just let you picture it.
Okay, I'll just keep it right there. Ewan, what do you got? I think we better get away from this before we go any farther. What's number 3 for you?
My third one is the quad lock system. Here we go. So this is a phone case that you get for your iPhone, and basically the center part of the back has got a raised edge, kind of sunken hole, if you like, that you put it onto the receiving mail part and then twist, and it locks it in 90-degree increments. So I've got the receiver on my bike, so I put this down on the bike and just twist it on the handlebars, and that's it. It's locked in place then. And you can't release it without depressing a third switch that then allows you to unlock it. I've got 2 of the car mounts actually mounted on my desk at work and on my side table at home here, and I just put them on, and that's it. You can buy little tiny blocks that are just the receiver mounts with screws in that you can put into the wall on drywall plugs, or you can screw into wood on the side of your bedside cabinet, and you just lock them into place and then plug your charger into the bottom of it. I absolutely adore the quad lock system. I've got them everywhere. The wife's got an armband to go and do running and things like that, where she can lock it onto her arm and can't get it off without depressing the third switch. And here's the thing. I did to this when it went from iPhone 6 to iPhone 7. The iPhone 7 came out. I got my iPhone 7 as soon as it came out, and I put it in a 6 case because I couldn't do without the quad lock. I would rather have gone back to the 6, even though it occluded the camera. I still put it in the 6 case because I could not do without the quad lock system. I am addicted. I love it to bits. I've spent a fortune on them.
So obviously you mentioned car mount, bike mount. Any other unusual mounts that it comes with?
Well, the thing that's nice is that the male bit that goes into the female receiver on the phone, actually, they make just that as a block with a center hole with a screw in it. So basically anywhere that you can stick a screw into, like I said, a drywall plug or into wood, you can mount one of these things and that's it. It's up. And I actually got to the stage in my head, I was thinking about how many places I could do these. And I thought, because they do one that sticks on as well, that's the female receiver. And I was thinking of taking the Mac Minis that were used on the Skype wall up at the BTN studio and mounting them onto the wall and just locking them into place. It's just superb.
That'd be good for routers too, or at least if you had a smaller. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Absolutely adore it.
Yeah. And you can never have your phone or your iPad too secure when it comes to something like that. Something sticking on the wall with an iPad or an iPhone. No, I'd want it screwed into the drywall. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's anything you like. So it's like I said, the desk, the ones for the car, I've just got them on my desk at home and on the desk that I've got down here at the house. And you just walk in, twist it on and lock it, and then put the charger in, and that's it for the day.
Interesting. Okay. Good. Thank you. It's been a while that I've seen an iPhone case that would tempt me away from my favorites, but that sounds like a really great idea.
The
It's been a while
case
since I've seen an iPhone case I would use at all. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's my iPhone 7, and it thickens it up. Of course it does, but it's significantly less intrusive than a lot of others. I love it. Absolutely adore the system.
Yeah.
I wish they made more stuff.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Good pick. Victor, round 3. Are you going to try to step on my next pick?
I don't know. We'll find out. But the other trouble that I have to solve while I'm traveling is being able to. I'm going to take, for example, a lot of 4K video with my iPhone. Even though I do have the 256 iPhone 7 right now, is at 4K that goes pretty quick. And so I need to be able to transfer video out of there and into something like my MacBook Pro or even my iPad. While at the same time, I need to also be able to have something that I can take movies if I want to take them with me. And so the next pick is the SanDisk iExpand Drive for iOS. It's about $90. I don't have one with me, but I'll show you a picture here. Hopefully you can see it. It's a little device that has one end that goes into your iOS device, and the other end is traditional USB-A. And so what it does, it has an application, and you can load this up at home with your movies or your music or whatever you want. Plug it into maybe your less big iPhone or iPad, and then use the application and play your movies right onto your device right from it. So that's kind of the output side of it if you're going to use it that way. But the other thing, of course, is that I can take video on the phone itself and then dump that video onto this device and then be able to clear it out of my memory from my iPhone, have it on the USB, and then easily transfer it to my MacBook Pro or any other USB device that I want. So about $90. I have found it to be very, very handy for this kind of thing, even though I have devices with a lot of storage.
Victor, I've looked at that. SanDisk is a great name, but I've always hesitated a little bit. I gather you've actually used one?
Oh, yes. I've used it on trips, and I've had nothing but success with it so far.
Okay, so no concerns, I guess, if just what Ewen was saying, never throw anything away. I get really nervous about shooting something in the field that I can't, it would be impossible to replicate, then, deleting it from my iPad. But with this, you're comfortable with everything going over into it and then wiping your iPad or your iPhone and starting over?
Well, yeah, it's going to be that, that safety level thing that I'm going to take it off, put it on there, get back to the MacBook Pro, dump it on there, make sure it's on there. Then I'm going to delete it from my device. So I'm not going to just blindly trust it to clear out my device. So there's a level of safety there. But no, I haven't had any problems whatsoever, either dumping things onto it or reading streaming data, in movies in real time or music. Not at all. And the application is pretty nice.
How about speed of transfer? Do you have any idea of?
It's not great, but it'll do.
Okay.
It's not great. You're out in the field. It's not going to be great.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. I think you just cost me money because that's
I
something.
would have thought a single point of failure is a single point of failure. So if you've got a file in one place, then you're running that risk regardless of where it is. And then you're down to the solidity of the device that you've got. And I've got to say, I haven't lost any images or video from an iPhone. But equally, I've never lost any images or video from SanDisk. I've lost them from Kingston and other people like that I'll never buy again. But I've never had a SanDisk card fail them.
Yeah. What's nice about it too is
I use the hell out of them. So
the connector there kind of has a springy end to it. So it curves into the back of your iPhone or your iPad, and that works very, very well. It's really not intrusive. The USB-A part just kind of sits on the back of your phone, and the loop, sits inside your phone, and that's held up very well as well, which I didn't know if that would be an issue, but it doesn't seem to be, at least not at this point.
Good. All right. Yep. Cost me money. Thanks, Victor. Well, I'm going to go back to the mic thing, continuing with the theme of equipping the iOgrapher for field work. The shotgun mics are great, but there's nothing like a lav to get kind of up close and personal if I'm the one doing the talking. And so I'm going to go back to the well and recommend the Rode Smart Lavalier for iPad and iPhone. This is one where it's just looks like any other lav, sits there, but it plugs into your Lightning port and into the headphone jack port, and you don't have to use the adapter or anything. It's Rode. It's, lavs. Lavs are kind of a dime a dozen. You can get expensive ones. You can get inexpensive ones. I think the Rode kind of strikes the middle road with about $79. But I've been very, 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 very happy with the sound quality I've gotten from it. And so when you do have a situation where maybe a shotgun is not appropriate, or you're looking for a bit more presence in your recording, the lav is the way to go. So that's my second mic.
Is that omnidirectional? Or is it an omnidirectional mic?
I believe it is. Yes.
Yeah, I think it'd be cardioid, but that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't know why. I love Rode products. Mainly, Victor, like you said, they've never let me down, and they're always good quality, and they're a pretty decent price point. They're not the cheapest thing you can get. They're not the most expensive, but for just good, hard working equipment, they do a real nice job.
And Chuck, that was something I had to consider when I was looking for the mic as well. And the way that I resolved that in my head without having to buy two things was, in using the Shure, I just got one of the extender cables that was audio certified. And so I can also use it, not as a lav, but at least as a very good handheld. So that way I was only going to have to carry one piece, and this is like a 6-footer, so that I can give it to somebody else and deal with it that way too. So that's how I dealt with not having to carry two different mics myself.
Well, that's a great idea, Victor, and I wouldn't have thought of that, especially because I was not familiar with the mic you picked. So good.
Are there any worthwhile wireless lav systems? Bluetooth or Wi-Fi?
I've got the Sony UDP system, and I absolutely adore it. It's the best. The other thing is as well, it's digital, so it's you don't get that tick, 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 tick off your phones if someone leaves it on in their pocket. It's not cheap. It's £600, $700 perhaps for the whole set, but that gets you an XLR, and that gets you to another lav receiver, a transmitter, and the receiving unit that will fit on top of the iographer on a cold chip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know.
A bit out of my budget, Ewan, but maybe
depends
someday.
how much you use it. If it's one of those things that, I mean, I use mine for everything now because I've got it. It's great because it's tax deductible because that's what I do for a living. But now I've got it, I use it in all kinds of circumstances that just not work as well as. But don't tell the taxman that, otherwise he's going to have the money back.
Yeah, the Sennheiser EW 112 PG is also very good, but again, but 629, highly regarded wireless mic system for any video stuff that you're doing.
The only thing you'll get with the Sennheiser system, which is better than, is if you go to a cardioid, then you'll get a 48-volt output from that, whereas the Sony doesn't have a 48-volt output on the transmitter.
Okay. Are you in the market, Brett?
I'm just sitting here feeling like the odd man out, talking about yoga mats and being completely underdressed. So I'm just trying to fit in. No, I'm not going to buy a $600, $700 lav system. No.
Okay.
I don't interview anybody anymore.
Well, maybe
my Skype is my lav now.
Yeah, but you might need it for that live yoga broadcast we're going to do.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that would.
But if Skype made a lav, it wouldn't work.
I'm gonna need this is true. I'm gonna need a wireless, waterproof lavalier.
There you go.
All right.
Because I sweat a lot.
Ewan, work on that, Ewan. See if you can come up with something for us.
I've just had my dinner.
I'm sorry?
I've just had my dinner.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
can fix that.
So that's yeah, I bet you can. So that's 3 rounds. And boy, it seems to be going fast. Brett,
doing a bonus round?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
I'd take a bonus round.
Me too.
Okay, well, we'll see. Brett, what do you have for the 4th round?
So, is it okay if I pimp my own stuff?
Sure, of course.
Because I make the shuttle, which is if you know anyone who owns an Apple TV or uses the Silver Apple remote for anything, if you can verify that they have spent more than 20 minutes elapsed looking for it between couch cushions, under pieces of paper, under the couch, under the chair, wherever it ends up, I made a solution for that. And the shuttle is a handcrafted wooden holder for the, I should be holding one right now, but I did not plan ahead. But it allows you to set it upright on a table, lay it down, set it on the arm of a chair and not have it fall off. It's beautiful. It works well with the aluminum remote color. It's elegant. It's wood. I am working on one for the new Siri remote. That one I have less trouble with losing, though. But if you've ever had the silver little sliver remotes, you know that they're basically specifically designed to disappear. So yeah, I would say we have a limited stock left before the holidays. I'll throw a coupon in the show notes for a discount, and we'll get those. We can also, if 100 people come in and want one, we can make more. But I'd love to clear those out. So we'll give you a deal, and you can make someone's day. Help them find the remote first, and then make sure they don't lose it again.
Well, first, thank you for the coupon code, definitely. But you bring up an interesting point that I really hadn't thought about. It is extra easy to lose those silver remotes, and I don't have the same problem with the Siri remote, and I don't quite understand why.
Well, it doesn't slide as far if it drops. Like the kind of the slight curve, eye shape to the silver ones just makes them fly when they hit the ground. They scoop and go, and they can slide under anything. They're like, what, 1/8 of an inch tall? But then pieces of paper somehow, and it is weird that I have never had this problem with the Siri remote, but a piece of paper on the coffee table, even the size of a dollar bill, can hide it. And you have no idea it's there. And you don't think to look under a dollar bill. Although, why is there a dollar bill on your table, you might ask? I don't have an answer for that. But
why have paper for 1 unit of currency? That's what I think.
Exactly. The whole system is wrong.
Yeah. We haven't had a pound note for 35 years.
We still have pennies.
Yeah. You're backward, Hicks. Sorry, did that come out loud? Sorry.
We lose money. We spend more to mint a penny than it's actually worth. Yes. Yeah, It's gotten ridiculous. Anyway.
That's true the world over, though.
Yeah. Shuttles.
It's gone to plastic now.
Brilliant. Plastic money. There we go. Yeah, no counterfeiting problems. There you go.
I think those are called debit cards.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. All right. Well, thank you for the coupon code. And folks, definitely check the show notes for that coupon code. We're not even going to say it here. You have to go to the show notes. Ewen, round 4. What's going on?
Logitech MX500 mouse. It's totally Mac compatible. Even the little buttons and the rolly wheel and all that kind of stuff on it work with Mac. The Logitech, there we go. Let's see.
You have to use the Logitech software.
That's pretend. That's not the MX500. The MX500 is the sculpty one that you get in. And the other thing is, if you go to Amazon, you can get a specifically custom-made clamshell case for it, and it fits like a glove into the clamshell case. And the nice thing about that as well is you can take the dongle out, because that's the only problem with it is it's not Bluetooth. It actually requires its own dongle, and the dongle's a piece of cake to lose. So it's £100. It's not the cheapest thing, but it's Mac compatible, and it is the best mouse I've ever used. I've got big pudgy fingers, so and a huge hand. So the Mac mouse, as much as I love the Magic Mouse, I'd love them to make one for extra large hands. But as they won't, this is the next best thing.
Do you have to run the Logitech software to map the buttons?
I'm going to say yes, but I think it actually worked, and actually a lot of the buttons worked out of the box. I think it's if you want to assign them to your own.
Right. Is it still Java-based and horrible? I only ask because in 2000 you had to have a dongle, and the software was enough to make me stop using my MX. But if it's changed, if it's improved, I'd be willing to deal with, one more dongle.
It's pretty intrusive. The only thing I'll find is probably once every 2 weeks I get a little notification saying it needs to be updated. But the update process works by itself, and you just type your password in, and that's it. It's done.
Fair.
I like it. I'm not a great one for software. but it works really, really well. And what's nice as well is that it doesn't conflict with because when the trackpad first came out, I couldn't use the trackpad and the mouse, and because that's running the Logitech stuff, it doesn't matter. Both of them run just fine.
I'm curious, Victor and Ewen, you both held up the Logitech mouse. No Magic trackpads?
Not for me. And I have the cheaper mouse. Like you said, I have the lower version of it, which is fine for what I do.
Yeah. Okay. But I've got the Magic trackpad, but I stopped using it because it wouldn't work with the Magic mouse. At the same time, you had to have one or the other on when it first came out, and I gather that's changed now. Someone's written to me this week and told me that it's changed. But using the Logitech mouse meant I could use that as well. So I use for my scrolling in Final Cut or something like that to skim backwards and forwards through the timeline. I use the left hand with the trackpad, and then right hand does all the edit clicks.
Okay, interesting. Got to think about that, trying to do Final Cut two-handed in that way.
I use a ShuttleXpress.
It's kind of like... yeah, I had one of those, and I stopped using it. I did like the jog wheel on it, though.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really do with it. Although in the screen recording app, not Camtasia.
ScreenFlow?
ScreenFlow. Yeah, I actually have the 5 buttons on this shuttle map to set in, out, jump to in, out, and then do a ripple cut on them. And it actually makes editing super easy because that app's it's a perfectly capable editing software and not too complex. And with a jog wheel and a shuttle and those buttons, I can do almost all my editing with just one hand. It's cool.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Victor, I believe you're at number 4.
Yep. This is the other extreme of low tech, definitely. But another problem when traveling or when just wanting to be organized is where do you put all those little trinkets and things that you have? And so I found these great little called Purify You premium reusable mesh bags. And they are just that, $12.99. You're not going to be able to see them very well right there. But they're just a series. I think they give you like 10 of them, different sizes, and just a nice mesh to be able to put your stuff, zip them up and stitch them up, and then put them in your backpack or your drawers or whatever, just to keep things where they're supposed to be. So really low tech, actually a set of 9 mixed on this one, but they have bigger sets if you want more of them.
Okay, I love those little mesh bags for keeping things, that can't be crushed. So keeping them organized, especially small cables, because I don't care how you wrap cables. For me, I just don't have the cable wrapping gene, and so I'd rather stick them in a little bag, and that way they're protected.
Yeah, and these have the very, very fine mesh, so it's nothing's going to get out no matter what. Not the end of a cable or anything. They're completely solid, but still very lightweight and doable.
Yeah, Victor, I'll give you. This is not a pick. This is just a tip. But if you have anything that you don't want crushed that is relatively small, go to your local drugstore and get a soap dish, a travel soap dish. Because
Excellent.
They're nice and hard. It's surprising how tough they make those things. I don't know why it's soap, but it's great because you can stick little things in there that they don't get lost and they also don't get crushed. So
that's a good life hack. Thanks.
Yeah. One of my few, but it's there. Okay, so I'm going to follow through with the mic theme one more time. If you don't want the shotgun, if you don't want the lav, but you want a handheld, which is always my preference when I'm doing interviews at shows and all, I've gone back and forth on a number of things. The solution I'm trying out right now, because it plugs into your Lightning port, so you have a nice tight connection and you're getting all of that benefit. Is the IK Multimedia iRig Mic HD. It plugs into the Lightning port, and it just works. And so it looks like a regular mic. little bit like a Shure SM58 knockoff, but it gives great sound. And the only thing I wish it did have just a little longer cable on it. That's the only thing. I haven't found a lightning cable extender, but I also haven't looked very hard yet. But again, when you're shooting with an iPhone or an iPad in that kind of situation, you're probably not going to want to be, many, many feet away. You're going to be pretty much up close to the camera. So, and of course, IK Multimedia makes great stuff. So this is another $99 pick, but it can work with your iPad or your iPhone as long as it has a lightning connector, which of course they all do. So there you go. So that's 3 different mic solutions that I've given you. Victor gave you a 4th one. So, wow, it's all about the audio, Victor.
Yeah, it is. And a lightning cable extender, here's one here.
Oh.
But when you go shopping for them, make sure that it says that it's compatible with the audio portion of lightning, because not all of them are. Some of them just carry the power. So you want to make sure that you get one that is compatible with audio. And they're very cheap, but you just have to just make sure it says that on it.
You made that mistake, huh?
I didn't make it. I was lucky enough to catch it in an Amazon review. And I thought, well, there's one I don't have to make.
Oh, you read reviews before you spend money. I got to work on that.
Well, a lot of them are fake, but I do read them because I found some good ones.
Yeah.
Seems logical, but I'm bad at it. So.
Yeah. Victor, I always tell people to look for the verified purchase thing on Amazon, because I figure that's got a higher chance of being a legitimate one.
I agree.
Good. Okay.
But it is a huge problem that Amazon has admitted exists.
Yeah. Well, any review sites, you have those things. There's just no way around it. But Take everything with a big grain of salt.
Yep.
So the other thing as well is if you've got those 3 mics, you've got everything covered, because you've got the shotgun for range, you've got the lav for personal, and then you've got the but omnidirectional, so it'll pick up a lot of background. And if you don't want the background, you've got the dynamic mic as well in there.
Yeah. It's all about spending money for what you need, and I'm not doing it professionally like you are, Ewan, so it's not as big a deal. Gentlemen, thank you.
No, but if you carry those 3, that's it covered.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great bunch of picks. I think Brett gets the award though for coming out of left field.
I'm sorry.
No, I
feel like I failed on a tech show, but
no, you're kind of known for coming out of left field. I love it.
It is kind of my MO.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, Brett, one more time. Where do we send people to find you and find your stuff?
Okay, so brettterpstra.com, and the projects page there will link you to just about everything I do, including podcasts, Systematic and Overtired. And then really, if you put TT Scoff after anything, twitter.com, github.com, Facebook, you'll find me. And I am extremely available. I love everybody. So yeah, I will communicate with you.
Great.
In some fashion.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here. Have a great holiday.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Ewan, where can we find you, as if I didn't know?
My name's Ewen Rankin. You can get me at Ewen Rankin on Twitter. You can also follow the British Tech Network at British Tech on Twitter. And we publish podcasts on iTunes and the British Tech Network. And we broadcast live 3 p.m. UK time on a Friday and 8 p.m. UK time for the big show.
And it's, if you can, folks, listen live, because it's always a lot of fun in the chat rooms. And if you can't, at least pick up the shows, because they're almost as much fun as live. And definitely look for
you.
Unedited, so. Well, yeah. and look for Ewan and Brett's live streaming yoga podcast coming soon.
Yeah, we should talk about that, brother.
Yeah, to pay-per-view channels near you.
Yeah. Ewan, have a good holiday. Thanks for being here.
And you, man.
Victor, I know we talked about the new project, but what else is going on, and where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at victorcajiao.com, and I do very little writing there. I'm off social media until the end of the year, so you won't find me there. And then 3 Nerd Things. That's the number 3 Nerd Things, starting early September. You'll want to listen to that for sure. It's going to be a fun show.
Great. Good to have you.
Did Twitter ban you?
No, I banned Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard they were doing that after the election, just kicking people off. I didn't know what you were up to. Sorry.
Yeah, Exactly.
Careful, we're about to start another show.
That's right. That's right.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Victor, have a good holiday and have a great trip to Cuba. I'll be anxious to hear about it.
I will. I'll definitely be back on the social medias and posting the truth about Cuba, whatever that is.
Great. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices, the MacJury on Mac Voices. We will have more gift shows coming up. We will have lots more of everything Apple-related coming up. We hope you'll join us. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the Mac Voices blog, the Mac Voices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.